What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all, I'm on Facebook. I'm in these little power. When I say power, I'm talking about the Stars show Power. I'm in these little power groups that talk. They discuss the show. They talk about characters on the show, etc. Right? And so one individual in the power group brought up Glenn Turman. Glenn Turman, y'all know Glenn Turman from Cooley High. He was in a different world, you know, as he was the colonel on a different world and all that, right? Somebody brought up like, oh, Glenn Turman, I hope he comes back. You know, I think he was in the original Power series. I think he was Ghost's uncle or something like that in the original Power series. They're like, I hope he makes a return in Power Book 2 to help Tariq. And so when I'm like, oh, somebody commented under the thing, under that post and say, y'all know he was married to Aretha Franklin, right? So I go and look this up because I did not know Glenn Turman was married to Aretha Franklin at that point. At one point, turns out it was correct. He was married to Aretha for about 6 or 7 years, right? And so I go down this rabbit hole about Aretha Franklin that I heard, but I never really dived into. Find out, of course, a lot of people know she was the daughter of a pastor. Now, I always heard it was alleged that her father was the father of her oldest child. I don't know how true that is, but I've heard that rumor for a while that her father fathered her oldest child, and she had a child at 12. So when I'm going through my little research, I come to find out that her father allegedly impregnated a 12-year-old member of his congregation. He's the pastor now. He allegedly impregnated a 12-year-old member of his congregation. At the time he allegedly did this, her father was well into his 30s, probably late 30s at the time this happened, right? And this is like a thing that people felt like that people are saying is true. And even after this, he still had a loyal congregation that was loyal to him, honoring him and all of that. And I'm like, yo, when I saw that, you know, I'm looking like the black folks have always had this problem of like trying to cover for abusers. You know what I mean? Always trying to sweep abusers under the rug. Especially the older generation had that bad. Like, I've heard so many stories from women and you know, on Instagram and people that I knew personally throughout my lifetime telling me they've been sexually assaulted. And the person that did it is just walking around at the family reunion, all at the birthday parties, all at the barbecues, all at you know, the dang on baby showers and all of that, and ain't nobody saying a thing. Just letting the abuser, letting them walk all around. I'm like, in my mind, I'm thinking, why was he not in jail? You know, but our community has always had a problem with trying to protect these abusers and trying, because you don't want nobody looking at your family sideways or judging your family. And you know, I'm looking at this Aretha Franklin thing about her father, and all that these people knew or allegedly knew these things about this man. His name, I believe, was C.L. Franklin, and they was perfectly fine with still going to his church all the time. Not only that, I've read like excerpts of where Ray Charles, and I don't know, I didn't go into it where this excerpt really came from, where he spoke about, I believe it was a book that one of Ray Charles, a book about Ray Charles's life, and he was quoted as saying, like, in the daytime it was full of praisers, and at night you would think it was something completely different. Like there was like sex parties in the church and all of that, and somebody else attested to it being true about it. Her father having like sex parties and all that type of stuff, right? And it just, you be thinking about, but again, I'm talking about the alleged abuse. You 30-some years old with a 12-year-old. That's ridiculous. And it was just something that it would just always, you know, shoot, and everybody went on about their business. Transferring that to common times, where you had R. Kelly on video having sexual relations with a 14, 15-year-old girl, which is mind-boggling, right? And you had adults blaming the girl, calling her fast, and well, if you come around wearing short stuff around men, what you think gonna happen? If you notice, a lot of the older generation of women, black women, protect R. Kelly. They make excuses for them. They like, and I'm not putting this on all the older generation, because there's a lot of older generation that are against that. But it's a lot of the older generation of his fans that excuse him for all of that. These young girls fast. They all fast. And I'm wondering, is this a coping mechanism? Because this was something that you were told when people probably was probably trying to abuse you. You were told that you were being too fast and you shouldn't have worn no skimpy clothes and all of that. And it boggles my mind, and it irks me how, the older generation make excuses for like people who are predators, and they don't. And again, if the girl was 18, 19, of legal age, that'd have been different. R. Kelly has been known to be, he married Aaliyah when she was like 15 years old. And he was like 27, something crazy, right? Then again, on camera, you got video proof. Now, he didn't go to jail for it because the girl's family denied it was her. But it was that girl. And a lot of people try to make excuses. Again, older people in particular, older women, make all these excuses for R. Kelly. Y'all need to lock up the parents. Lock up the parents. And I'm like, yo, what is it about our older generation that always want to covet and protect abusers? Now, it's getting a little better, but we got a long way to go, because people will come out and make excuses. Don't want nobody to know. Don't shoot. You need to lock up the parents too. And I'm like, I hate when people say that. Yes, the parents. If the parents pimped out their children to R. Kelly, they need to be locked up. My thing is this: people be saying, oh, they need to lock up the parents too. They say that as a way to absolve R. Kelly of his wrongdoing. And I tell people, I don't want to hear he's still wrong and terrible and guilty. Why are you lusting for 15-year-old babies? When you 28, you almost 30 years old. Lusting for, he had to have been 30 at that point. Why are you lusting for little 15, 14-year-old girls? Why are you at the high schools camping out? It don't make no sense, right? But I often say this. When people try to absolve R. Kelly, it's the parents' fault for bringing him around. I say, listen, man, somebody can bring a 14, 15-year-old girl to my doorstep and say, here, you can have her. And nothing's going to happen to that baby, because I don't sexualize children. I don't lust for babies. I don't lust for little girls. You know what I mean? So to try to make excuses for R. Kelly, the parents shouldn't have never brought him over there. No. Yeah, they shouldn't have. But he the one that want to express sexual urges to a child. And people come out and make all these excuses for him. Even so now, everybody love to keep telling the world how they keep listening to R. Kelly no matter what. It's like they want to say it as like a way to lash out or rebel against people who hate sexual assault. People who hate people who sexual assault people. They'll listen to R. Kelly. Knock it off. Our generation got to